Okay, Marsha Blackburn, good old Tennessee woman. She's issuing a bunch of subpoenas. We've got the Republicans voting to award the FBI with a brand new $300 million building. Oh, that's fantastic. They're really helping us out here down in the trenches. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. Let's go for it. Welcome back to Continue Freedom. If this is your first time here, welcome. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Rumble, YouTube, X, and Locals. All right, Marsha Blackburn. I've got mixed emotions about Marsha Blackburn, but I think for what it is, having to operate as a senator in this environment, she does a pretty decent job. But she is now issuing subpoenas, not only for, we'll start off with Justice Sotomayor. So if you haven't been following it, Congress has really been going after Clarence Thomas, and bless his heart, he did make a misstep. I mentioned it in one of my videos previously, but apparently he had gotten a loan from a billionaire friend of his, paid some of the loan back, but the guy wound up forgiving some of it, and it just looks bad for him to have done that. He used the money to buy a motorhome so he and his wife could travel around the country. Okay, got it. And he paid some of it back and got it, whatever. Well, now Marsha Blackburn says, oh, okay, well, you want to go after Clarence Thomas because they've been going after him since the beginning. I mean, he has been, if you saw his confirmation, if you can go back and look in history, they were putting the screws to him. I mean, it was very Kavanaugh-esque and Amy Coney Barrett-esque. They were really, putting the screws to him. And so they hate him. They don't like him because of what he represents. He represents a free-thinking, intelligent, articulate, conservative black man is what it is. That's their problem with him. And he's one of the greater legal minds in our country. And I think he's awesome personally, but they're going to come after him for whatever they can. Well, at the same time, Justice Sotomayor, who was an Obama appointee, if I remember correctly, she was selling books, and her book, basically she was using her staff, so using federal employees, to leverage her position in order to sell her book to universities. And my understanding was that she netted about $4 million from that. So she's making money using, federal employees to sell her book. That's basically what she's doing, which is a misuse of government assets, misuse of government property, misuse of government employees, time, et cetera, et cetera. And so Marsha Blackburn says that she's going to subpoena her, but she says, while we are also subpoenaing people, she's going to go after something a little bit bigger. And she's showing that she's not afraid to handle some radioactive material. So let's listen to this real quick.
You clearly don't want to talk about that one either. So I have filed an amendment issuing a subpoena to Justice Sotomayor's staff, who helped to sell her books, as well as to her book publisher, so we can fully understand the backstory of these deals. And since we're in the business of issuing subpoenas now, here are a few more that I've filed. A subpoena to Jeffrey Epstein's estate to provide the flight logs for his private plane, given the numerous allegations of human trafficking and sexual abuse surrounding Mr. Epstein.
Wow.
I think it is very important that we identify everybody that was on that plane.
Yep.
And how many trips they took on that plane and the destinations to which they arrived.
Wow.
I've also filed a subpoena authorizing Secretary Becerra to come before this committee and explain to us how HHS and the Office of Refugee Resettlement has lost track of 85,000 children.
Wow. So this is some radioactive stuff, right? When you start talking about Jeffrey Epstein, as Senator Kennedy said, Christmas ornaments, drywall, and Jeffrey Epstein. Name three things that don't hang themselves. And this is some political. When she said that, I guarantee you there were people in that building whose blood pressure shot up a bit. They got on their phones and they were calling somebody, saying, "Hey, does this still actually exist? Are people actually gonna be able to get their hands on this list, on this book?" Because this is one of the great travesties of our justice system. Somebody like Jeffrey Epstein, who dabbled in that third tier of our justice system, We have got the three tiers. We've got the tier that we're all in, right? We're sitting the low tier, and we are, we're meaningless. We are subject to the law, and Lady Justice is blind down here. And if we do something wrong, we're going to go to prison. And in some cases, it's even stacked against us. So we don't get me started on the IRS. We're basically guilty until proven innocent, and they can come at us from any separate angle that they want to in an audit, and cost us money, cost us time, even put us in prison if they want to. But then you've got the next level of the justice system, which is the politicians and some of the wealthier elites, where they can pay for better lawyers. They can maybe get by with some of their political corruption, but they stand the chance of being thrown to the wolves, politically speaking, if they're a politician. But then you've got the higher tier, which are the people, the higher up politicians, the presidents, the SecDefs, and all of these people that are at the elite level. And then you've got the billionaires and the people like Jeffrey Epstein. That's where Jeffrey Epstein made bank. That's where Jeffrey Epstein survived, and where he lived in his little blackmail scheme was with those upper echelon people. And those upper echelon people can make him into basically every villain action movie you've ever seen, where all the cameras go out and the guard happens to be asleep. And then next thing you know, and all the lights go out, and next thing you know, the lights come on and there's a guy hanging there, obviously killed himself. Yeah, I'm not buying that. But she says we're going to go after it. And I think that she's just kicking the hornet's nest to see, if there's anything still in there, see what flies out. And hopefully she doesn't get stung. But that's a great thing. And then she talks about the 85 children on the border. The fact that we as Americans have lost 85 children at our southern border, not to mention the security threat, which I've mentioned before in videos. But this is a humanitarian threat at our southern border, and these children are being sold into labor trade, into the sex trade. Like, this is horrific stuff. And the blue-haired liberals, those people, they're saying, oh, what's going on in Palestine? Well, what's going on in Palestine is terrible. It's a war. That's awful. But at our southern border, we have millions of people coming across, and we have tens of thousands of infants and children that are being bought and sold. We are offering money. We are giving money to the cartels by leaving our southern border open. It is absolutely shameful. It is shameful. But good for her. Good for Marsha Blackburn. We'll see what comes out of it. It's just something I'm going to keep following. But at the end of the day, the Republican Party, we can look at while there's some Republicans out there fighting the good fight, like Matt Gaetz, I believe, is fighting the good fight. We have some other Republicans who are more than willing to go ahead and give the FBI $375 million for a brand new facility. Giving them $75 million for a brand new facility. And not to mention the fact that this facility is going to be bigger than the Pentagon. This is a monstrous, monstrous new facility. And for people that talk tough, which the Republicans do, they talk very, very tough about, the FBI is this corrupt federal law enforcement agency. We got to clean out the FBI. We got to do this. We got to do that. But we're going to award them with $375 million to build a building. Now, let's be honest. Do we really think it's only going to cost $375 million? No, absolutely not. Just like in any other corrupt country, there's going to be overages that's going to cost more. It's going to be, longer on time. There's somebody building, like they're buying a second home, and they are, buying some new toys to put in their garage with some of this $375 million. And they know that next year, because it's going to take years and years for this to be built, that, there's going to be overages. There's going to be longer timelines. It's going to take forever to build. And on top of this, we have, surprise, surprise, conflicts of interest. And this is from ABC News. And so the GSA, the agency that oversaw the site selection process, announced Wednesday that it selected Greenbelt, Maryland, as the headquarters for the FBI. The community, about 13 miles northeast of D.C., was selected over Virginia after years of the two states bordering the district duking it out for the new headquarters. The current FBI building, the J. Edgar Hoover building in downtown D.C., is in desperate need of repairs, according to the FBI. If you ask me, I think that they should slap a little stucco on it and just make it work, because we're a country that's $33 trillion in debt. Do we really need to provide an even larger, more elaborate, cathedral from which they can take our freedoms and liberties and treat us like cattle? No, we don't have the money. Sorry, we're broke. You don't go out when you say you're broke and buy a, big expensive house. Nope. They don't deserve it. They don't need it. They're doing fine, obviously, just where they are. They can still do their jobs. But the GSA executive, who was a political appointee, is granting this to this site in Greenbelt, Maryland, to their previous employer. So there's a serious conflict of interest, and it looks nefarious, to say the least. So when you're talking about this much money, it's almost $500 million. Then yeah, people, there's sticky fingers that even in, we saw it in third world countries. We see it in Iraq and Afghanistan, acceptable levels of corruption. There's corruption here as well. I mean, don't get me wrong. don't misunderstand. There's absolute corruption involved in this. And yeah, you should, it's almost a disqualifier to say, oh, well, I used to work for you. Sorry, there's nothing I can do. I can't pick this site because it's going to look bad. And, they make a lot of arguments that, oh, it's easy. It's a better location for their staff and this, that, and the other. It's, this was the most enticing spot. It could just be sour milk, but at the end of the day, it does not look good. It looks really bad. And, much like I was talking about with Mike Johnson, not, going after Joe Biden, they talk a good game. Republicans talk a great game. But at the end of the day, a lot of them are no different. Now, I'm hoping Mike Johnson he's having to play politics because he's the brand new speaker. And maybe that's why he's saying some of the things that he's saying. I don't know the case behind that one. But with this building, this FBI building, there is no scenario where this should have happened. Sorry, we're out of money. The piggy bank is empty. The piggy bank is empty. All right. Well, that's all I had for today. Be sure to follow me for more interesting, fun, and engaging content. Yeah, give me a follow. Give me a like. I'm on Rumble. I'm on Twitter, or on X. Sorry, Rumble, X, Locals, and YouTube. And we'll see you next time.